God. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I was this close. This close. I was this close to just saying, fuck it, and I was not going to do a review. Normally, I have things planned out in my head, and I was planning out what I wanted to say. I was planning out how I wanted to dissect things, because I really don't want to yell. I don't want to scream. I don't want to bitch and moan and rant and rave and complain. I don't want to blow my voice out. I don't want to get so angry to a point where veins are popping out of my head and I need to take fucking blood pressure pills and I'm not even 30 years old. It just, I don't know. I really don't have the words. I really don't have the words to analyze this. I really don't have the right words. I don't have the right mindset to analyze this. And I haven't even had a chance to sleep on this. You're watching this on Monday, February 22nd, 2021. I'm recording this directly after the Elimination Chamber, so all of this is still fresh in my mind, and I'm operating on pure emotion right now. I'm operating on pure emotion right now, regardless of what the future plans are. I don't give a shit. I really don't. I don't give a shit if you wanted the match as a dream match. I don't give a shit if you wanted it because you thought it would tell a better story. And if you did think it would tell the better story than what we got at the Elimination Chamber, you are a fucking moron. What we got to close the Elimination Chamber was the product of Edge choosing Roman Reigns. You see, many people don't think. The majority of the wrestling community is fucking stupid. The majority of the wrestling community are a bunch of brain-dead retards who don't know anything about pro wrestling and should not even have access to the internet. And that's not me being angry because of what outcome we got as far as pro wrestling goes. That's me telling you the truth. And the reason why people get mad at me, and a lot of people like me, people that are very hard on the WWE product, it's because what people like me say is the truth. And people get mad because they don't have any legitimate information to prove us wrong. So they point the finger at us and label us as bad people. Meanwhile, we actually think and watch wrestling with our brains. I don't give a shit if you use wrestling as an escape or not. I don't give a shit if you use wrestling to cope with your fucking depression. I don't care. Do I look like a motherfucker who cares? If there's one thing that everyone fucking should know about me, I don't care. I don't care. I don't give a shit what you watch wrestling for. I don't give a shit if you want to watch it because you want to escape from the real world. Yeah, I use it as an escape from the real world, but at the same point in time, I know when it's good and I know when it's bad. That doesn't give you nothing. Nothing gives you the right to turn your fucking brain off and just watch wrestling with a this type of fucking attitude where everything is sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. And I know that there's probably going to be some people that are happy about the outcome that we saw to end the Elimination Chamber. But a lot of people don't think that this is the fucking outcome of Edge choosing Roman. It set off a chain of events, especially with the report from WrestleVotes coming out. This is what you get when you place two people in a match that should not be happening. This is what you get when you get the wrong World Championship match. aside from the reasons that I named in the coming weeks leading up to the Elimination Chamber, aside from the fact that Roman beating Edge will do nothing to enhance Roman, and you need to place him in there with specific people that he's had history with that will enhance him through the stories told on the microphone and in the ring, aside from those reasons, aside from all the reasons that I already named, who does Edge, now that we get Roman and Edge, who does Edge face after Roman? If he's going to SmackDown or if he's going to Raw? That's another question, but we'll attack that at a later date. But who does Drew face now? That was the main question looming over everyone's mind. What's going to happen with Drew McIntyre? You realistically had nobody else. Now, if you would have done the right decision and you would have done Edge versus Drew, then you could have had a solid build heading into WrestleMania between the two, and you actually could have built up an intriguing matchup. Drew McIntyre, more likely than not, would have gone over Edge like he should have. I mean, Edge shouldn't be winning a championship regardless, but Drew beating Edge would have enhanced Drew further. Drew beating Edge would have enhanced Drew further, and then Roman beating Bryan would have enhanced Roman further. But now, since Edge chose Roman, and you were building towards Edge versus Roman at WrestleMania, now the WWE Championship was left up in the air. And the fact that Bad fucking Bunny, the fucking guy with the chia pet on his head, had plans over the WWE Champion, the man that is holding the most prestigious title in your company. You roll all of this bullshit up into one, combined with the fact that, like we've already established, I mean, a fucking newborn infant can figure this out. WWE just doesn't care. They don't fucking care. I mean, everyone fucking knows that. I mean, and if you actually believe that WWE cares about the betterment of the product, and you actually believe that WWE cares about you, my God, you need to check yourself into a fucking mental institution and put yourself down for immediate fucking brain surgery. They don't care. They don't care. And the sad part about it is that they don't care and they can get away with it. They don't care and they can get away with it. They don't give a single fuck and they can get away with it. Why? Because Vince McMahon may very well be the most intelligent businessman on the face of the planet. I've stated it already. I stated it yesterday, not even yesterday, a couple days ago on the Lightning Flash Update, 2 days ago, excuse me. I stated it 2 days ago on the Lightning Flash Update. This company's going to make money despite themselves. This company's going to make money no matter what. They're going to make money no matter what. They ain't never going out of fucking business. ECW didn't put them out of business. WCW didn't put them out of business. The Chris Benoit incident didn't put them out of business. The fucking pandemic itself didn't put them out of business. Why? Because Vince McMahon is the slyest, slickest, sleaziest businessman walking God's green earth today. Now that they got the new Peacock deal, they got a nice cushion of money that they're sitting on. They could do whatever the fuck they want. They could very well go and have referee John Cone's son Nicholas return after a fucking 3-year hiatus, and he could beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and win the fucking Universal Championship. And the company will still stay afloat because of Vince McMahon's business tactics. It don't matter whether we watch, it don't matter whether we don't watch, it don't matter whether the ratings are above 2 million or under 2 million, it don't matter who's the WWE Champion, it don't matter who's the Universal Champion, it don't matter who's on television, it don't matter who's not on television, it don't matter who's in the main event of WrestleMania, who's not in the main event of WrestleMania. It don't matter. As long as Vince McMahon is still breathing, he is going to use every single sleazy, sly business tactic that he can pull out of his back pocket to make sure that that company makes money no matter what. And he knows it. He knows it. He can get away with it. This company is going to get away with putting on the worst wrestling shows in the history of pro wrestling, and they're going to continue to make money. The worst part about it all, they don't care, and they can get away with it because of business. What we got to end the Elimination Chamber was nothing more than the product of WWE pulling the wrong creative decision. Now what are we looking at? I have a theory of what we're looking at. We'll talk about that when we get to the ending of the Elimination Chamber. But here's what I want to say. The show as a whole, before we got that ending, the show as a whole wasn't even that bad. The show as a whole actually was turning out to be a fairly decent pay-per-view. I was getting ready to come on here and say, hey, yeah, we saw some missed opportunities, and yeah, we got some shitty creative decisions, but overall, it was a decent wrestling show. I was getting ready to come on here and say, hey, it was a decent wrestling show. And then we got that ending. And overall, it was still a decent wrestling show, but I don't even think anyone really understands how vital the ending. I don't even think anyone understands how vital the ending is to a pay-per-view. That lasting image of a pay-per-view can make or break a show. The main event, while it was a great main event, but that ending, that outcome that we got in the main event, that makes or breaks a fucking show. The outcome of a match or the outcome of a pay-per-view, the main event, that ending, the ending to anything makes or breaks anything. Not just in pro wrestling. You could argue that the ending makes or breaks anything in the world, whether it be a movie, whether it be a sports game, a television series, anything. The ending is the most vital part of anything that you are presenting. If the conclusion of something, anything, if the conclusion sucks, that lasting image is going to be the deciding factor on whether something is good or bad. This pay-per-view as a whole wasn't even that horrible. It really wasn't. This pay-per-view as a whole wasn't even that horrible, but my fucking God, that ending. And if anyone is really okay, if you are okay with that ending, my God, you have the lowest fucking standards out of anyone in the professional wrestling community that I think I've ever seen. You are okay with that ending. You're content with that ending. You are pleased by that ending. 13 minutes. I just want to end it there. I don't even want to talk about the show. We actually got some fairly decent, like I said, we actually got some fairly decent wrestling on the show. I don't even want to fucking talk about it, because that's how fucking pissed I am. And again, it all goes back to the fact that WWE, they just don't fucking care, and they can get away with it. Because no matter what they do, Vince McMahon is always going to find a way for this company to stay afloat, because he's just that good of a businessman. He knows. He knows he doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit what he puts out there. Neither does Bruce. He doesn't give a shit, but he can get away with it. And that's the sad part about it. Especially on nights like this, CM Punk and his words in that pipe bomb in June of 2011, they will forever hold true. They will. They will forever hold true. This company will be better off when Vince McMahon is dead. Dead and gone. And we don't know when that is. For all I know, the guy could very well fucking outlive me. And I'm fucking 50 years younger than him. A complete fucking joke. An embarrassment. An embarrassment of an ending. A man who lost the majority of his matches throughout the last year and turned into a fucking bad comedy act with John Morrison. A man who was mimicking Mandy Rose's voice. A fucking hair puppet. Mimicking of the voice of a hair puppet of Mandy Rose not even a year ago. A man who was fucking doing music videos at Backlash with John Morrison. Hey, hey, ho, ho. A man who has been nothing but a talk show host and nothing but a glorified enhancement talent over the last year. That man is now the WWE Champion. This isn't 2016 anymore. This isn't 2018 anymore. I just want to end it right. I really do just want to end it right there. I'm sorry. I really just want to end it right there. I'm going to try my best to get through this We had some decent wrestling on the show, but, man, that fucking ending. The pay-per-view as a whole wasn't a horrible pay-per-view, but my fucking God, that ending was absolutely fucking horrendous. And regardless of what we are looking at, and more likely than not, Drew McIntyre is going to win the title back at Fastlane. More likely than not, Drew McIntyre is going to win the title back at Fastlane, and we're probably going to get Drew and Lashley at WrestleMania. That don't mean a goddamn thing. I am sorry. Bobby Lashley and his time as a main eventer is gone. It's gone. How many of the majority of people, how many of the community, the majority of the community, are you really going to care about Bobby Lashley? And if you do, you're part of the minority. I'm sorry. Bobby Lashley is not a main eventer anymore. Maybe in 2006, 2007, he would have been perfect in the WWE Championship picture, and maybe he should have been the one to defeat John Cena back in 2007, but regardless of that, it's over. It's over, it's done, and never to return. Never to return again. That ship is long gone, sailed 14 years ago. Regardless of whether Lashley wins or whether he doesn't win, in no way, shape, or form should we be talking about Bobby Lashley in the conversation for the WWE Championship. It will do nothing overall. There's only one thing that Bobby Lashley can be put in that the majority of the community is going to care about, and it's going to be universally praised, if booked correctly, and that's a match with Brock Lesnar. Outside of that, there is literally nothing that you can do with Bobby Lashley, no matter how great he's been booked with MVP, no matter how great he's been portrayed, whether he's been portrayed like a legit fucking killer or not, whether he's been portrayed like a legit badass or not, it don't mean jack shit. Bobby Lashley is past the point of no return as far as a main eventer goes. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre in a main event match. It's not. Sorry if that upsets you, but it is the fucking truth. And if you're mad at me for that, go fuck yourself. I don't care, because I know that I'm right. You know I'm right. You can't touch me, and you can't do a goddamn thing about it. Wasted nearly 20 minutes ranting on that shit. Probably gonna do it again towards the end of the review. Probably gonna do a lot more ranting in this review as well. If you don't already know who I am, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. I don't want to fucking be here! I'm DJ Storms. This is the rewind for WWE Elimination Chamber 2021. Of course, that streamed live on the WWE Network last night, February 21st. Pre-show started at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to go over everything. We are going to go over everything that happened last night and the complete disarray that this road to WrestleMania is in. And it is all on WWE. And again, we are in for much worse, I'm telling you. We are going to be in for much, much worse, considering how WWE has laid out this road to WrestleMania. And again, it all goes back to the fact that they don't fucking care. They don't fucking care, and they can get away with it. Because of the Peacock deal. The business tactics of Vince McMahon, I'm going to continue to say it until it is drilled into everyone's fucking head. Vince McMahon and his business tactics are going to keep this company afloat, and he is going to do whatever the fuck he wants. It doesn't matter what they do as far as creative booking goes. It doesn't matter what they do as far as Raw and SmackDown goes. This show is going to continue to get worse, and WWE is going to continue to make more money. No, regardless of whether people watch or they don't watch, whether they praise or they don't praise. We're here to talk about everything Elimination Chamber related. 20 minutes I wasted ranting on what we saw in the ending. Please, if you haven't already done so, follow me on Twitter at HistoryMakerDJS. You'll find out why I am the operator of the best damn Twitter known to mankind. Follow me on Instagram at DDJStorms. Add me on Facebook as well for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is. All links are in the description. Check out the Lightning Flash update from 2 days ago. We dissected all news that came out about Sammy Guevara and the apparent heat that he contracted with Impact Wrestling and AEW. We also talked about Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar apparently being in the conversation for the future, potentially next year at WrestleMania. I do not want to fucking see that. Not because Roman Reigns is doing bad, but because of the fact that we've seen it 4 times already, and only one of those matches actually turned out to be a decent match. On top of that, there was also 7 weekly show dissections. Obviously, there was rants. We had a fun time in the stream on Saturday. If you missed that, please go check that out. If you guys haven't already done so, I wasted fucking 20 minutes ranting and raving on the ending that we saw at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Please like the stream if you haven't already done so. You are going to want to stick around because I got plenty more rants coming to you today on the Rewind. I got plenty more rants coming to you today on the Rewind, so please hit the like button if you haven't already done so. I want to get to 30 likes. Did not get to 30 likes as far as the Lightning Flash update goes, as far as I'm concerned. We did get over 30 likes for the rundown, but YouTube decided to be a fucking asswipe, and the owners of YouTube decided to retract views from the rundown. They retracted about 30, 40 views from the rundown. YouTube is run by a bunch of fucking assholes, really. I absolutely hate YouTube. I really joined too late. It's really become a glorified fucking children's app. It's become an app full of fucking restrictions. Everything's fucking restrictions. This fucking big tech media fucking restricting everyone. Fucking hate it. But anyway, please go check the Lightning Flash update out if you missed it. Please go like. The like button is right down there. You are going to want to stick around for all the rants that I got coming to you. Keep the chat alive as well. Share out the stream on all platforms, social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Tumblr. Please share it out. We're going to get as many people in here as possible because everyone, you're going to want to hear my rants. You're going to want to fucking hear my rants. Lots of fucking rants coming. On top of that, if you haven't already done so, keep the chat alive. Get everyone in here. Share it out to all your fans. If you got fans, share it out to your family, your friends, your associates, your acquaintances, your coworkers. Share it out to everyone. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as I'm trying to grow and expand. And of course, hit the notifications bell so that way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, as of course, it's the best time to be on YouTube. Normally, I'm a little bit more energetic, but I'm just fucking pissed at what we saw. I am absolutely fucking aggravated, and rightfully so. We are going to get straight into the matches here on the Rewind. We started off with the pre-show match. Keith Lee was out. Apparently, it is injury-related. Not really sure what he has. They did not disclose the injury. The reports, nor WWE officials, disclosed the injury for Keith Lee. So we don't know the reason why he is out. But we ended up getting a fatal 4-way match. It was Ricochet, Elias, Mustafa Ali, and John Morrison. The winner would enter the U.S. title match later on in the night between Riddle and Lashley. So we had some swift double team moves, a double reverse DDT neckbreaker combo. Everyone was down. We had Elias with a sit-out choke bomb to Ricochet. Ali broke that one up. Morrison with a springboard enziguri to Elias. We had a moonlight drive to Ricochet for a 2. Morrison missed the Starship Pain. Ricochet tried to mount to come back with a double moonsault, taking out both Elias and Mustafa Ali. He hit a half and half to John Morrison for a 2. Ali with the tornado DDT. Ricochet hit the 450, but Retribution. We had T-Balls and Disgrace saving Mustafa Ali. Ricochet tried for a Tope Con Hero. He was caught and then powerbombed into the post, and then out of nowhere, Morrison rolled up Ali, tight bridge pinfall, and Morrison advances to fight Bobby Lashley and Matt Riddle later on in the night. First off, why did you only give this match 7 minutes? I understand that you needed to have someone compete twice in one night, but at the same point in time, give the match a little bit more time to breathe and tell a fucking story. Make the match actually feel fucking important. Give it some time and make these people look look and feel legitimate? How are they supposed to look and feel legitimate? How are they supposed to feel like they're fighting for something important if the match only went for 7 fucking minutes? And on top of that, my fucking God, Retribution, what the fuck are you doing? This went right over fucking Bruce Pritchard's head. He probably ordered the whole entire fucking left side of the menu at fucking Taco Bell. He was probably munching on 16 Taco Bell fucking chalupas in the back. This went right over his head. It's a fatal 4-way. It's no disqualification. Why are Retribution out there, just standing out there? Why are they doing nothing? Why are they just standing out there? Oh God, he's gonna get pinned. He's gonna get pinned. Ali kick out. Why are they just standing there? It's a no disqualification match. Not only do Retribution themselves, not only do T-Balls and Jackoff and Disgrace, not only do they look stupid, but Mustafa Ali looks stupid. He could have had that match won in 2 seconds flat. There's 4 of them and 3 other opponents. He could have had Retribution attack those 3 other opponents. He could have sat back and watched, and he wouldn't have had to lift a finger. Why are Retribution out there if they're not going to get involved? It's no DQ. They could get involved if they wanted to. If you weren't going to have Retribution attack whoever was in the match, attack them right out of the gate, then why did you even bring them out there? You would have been better off just leaving them in the back. And hell, it would have been much better if you left Retribution in the back. On top of that, you had a golden opportunity presented to you on a silver platter with this match right here. Keith Lee went down with injury, supposedly. I will elaborate on that more when we get to the U.S. title match. But Keith Lee supposedly went down with injury. Right? A few weeks ago, I pitched the idea of Mustafa Ali winning the U.S. title and taking that into WrestleMania to feud with Kingston. And I'll tell you why. The story writes itself because Mustafa Ali is pissed at Kofi because Mustafa went down with injury. Kofi took his spot in the Elimination Chamber, and Kofi Mania was born from that spot, being relinquished from Ali to Kofi. So if Ali would have won this match, like he should have, and Ali would have won the United States Championship, you could have told the story of Mustafa Ali taking the U.S. title into Mania, and he could have been like, you stole one championship moment away from me. You took my WWE Championship moment away from me at WrestleMania. I'm not going to allow you to take this championship moment away from me. I earned this on my own. This is my life's work. Not only would it have enhanced the feud between Ali and Kofi, but it would have made the U.S. title feel important. When was the last time the U.S. title actually had an ounce of fucking importance? Not since John Cena was doing the U.S. title open challenge. You would have enhanced the feud between Ali and Kofi, and you would have made the U.S. title feel important. It would have been spotlighted on WrestleMania in a big way. You had a golden opportunity presented to you on a silver platter with this to have Ali win and then win the U.S. title later on in the night, but instead, no. Instead, not only do you have one of the biggest enhancement talents win the match, but he pins Ali. I don't know who the fuck Ali pissed off. I don't know what's going on backstage. I don't know what happened to Ali, but my fucking God. I'm gonna say it again. Ali is literally bending over back. He's breaking his fucking back. Ali is breaking his back to try and make this shit work. I legitimately feel bad for the guy. He is breaking his fucking back trying to make this character work with the promos on social media, the promos in WWE exclusives, playing up the gimmick on social media, calling out trolls on social media, talking a big game. He is breaking his fucking back to try and make it work, and they're not even giving him a fucking crumb to feast on. They're not even giving him even just a little piece of fucking cookie to feast on. And they're giving out all these opportunities to people that we've seen before and people that haven't earned jack shit. They're giving all this television time and all these big wins to people like Lashley and McIntyre. Meanwhile, Ali is literally busting his ass, trying to get people invested, trying to make himself and Retribution even just have one little ounce of credibility, and they're not giving him the wins to back it up. Ali is literally becoming the new Bray Wyatt. Remember Bray Wyatt with the Eater of Worlds gimmick? How Bray Wyatt talked a big game. He was one of the best, he was the best promo in the entire WWE when he was the Eater of Worlds, before he became the Fiend. One of the best promos in WWE before he became the Fiend. And literally, he talked a big game, and every single big feud that he had, he fucking lost. That's exactly where Mustafa Ali is. He is the new Bray Wyatt. He is the new Bray Wyatt. And I legitimately feel bad for the guy. Retribution and Ali look like a bunch of fucking idiots. Ali continues to get buried further and further. Talks a big game, loses and loses and loses and loses. Absolutely fucking disgusting. They have this has gone on to a point where I am legitimately this close to not giving a fucking shit about Ali versus Kofi at WrestleMania. I legitimately have given up. I've legitimately given up. They have done the same thing with Ali and Kofi that they've done with Riddle and Lashley, and they fucked up the feud. They have completely fucked up the feud. Why should I fucking care about the feud? Why should I invest in Mustafa Ali when he talks a big game and he keeps losing? He was pinned. 7 minutes. Didn't even give the match time to tell a proper story. Match didn't feel important. Standard fatal 4-way match. The outcome of this match just proves to everyone that WWE did not give a shit about the match. They didn't give a shit who was in the match, and they didn't give a shit who won the match. They just decided, let's just put someone in there. Let's just put a random-ass individual in there. Morrison gets the win. Morrison gets the win, pins Ali. Ali is buried further and further. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Main show started off with Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin, Burger King Corbin, McDonald's Happy Meal Corbin, Taco Bell Chalupa Corbin, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan. This was an Elimination Chamber match where the winner would face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. And this was probably the best overall match of the night. Realistically speaking, the Chamber matches made the show. Without the Chamber matches, this may have been a complete shit show. The matches in between the Chamber weren't necessarily bad. They weren't necessarily jack shit, but it's not like they were over the top. Oh my god, must see. I need to go out of my way to watch this. No, the Chamber matches made the show. This was undoubtedly the best overall match of the night. We had Bryan and Cesaro starting off the match. They had a very nice back and forth. Two great wrestlers just doing what they do, going out there and wrestling. So the first pod opened, and it was Baron Corbin. He went right after Daniel Bryan and Cesaro. Corbin with two beautiful deep sixes on Bryan and Cesaro. He got a 2 count on both men. Corbin himself, let me just tell you something. Corbin himself, he's not a bad wrestler. He's not a bad wrestler at all. When he's given the opportunity, when he's paired with the right talent, he can put on a fairly decent match. He's done that in the past. The hate from Corbin always comes from the fact that his character and his booking has just been jack shit. They completely fucked up the Lone Wolf gimmick. The Lone Wolf was a gimmick that could have very well been a world champion. Baron Corbin was a future world champion, and they fucked him up. They fucked him up to epic proportions. So Corbin targeted the knee of Daniel Bryan. That became the story throughout the match. The next pod opened, and it was Sami Zayn. He tried to hold the door shut. Corbin got sent into his pod, and Zayn trash-talked Corbin. Cesaro came up from behind Sami Zayn, and he started bouncing Zayn around inside the pod. Sami then later accidentally haluva kicked the pod. That could have gone fucking wrong for Sami. Corbin with a superplex to Daniel Bryan. Zayn with a tornado DDT to Cesaro on the outside for a 2. Zayn and Cesaro brawled on the top of the pod. Sammy then started to scale the pod like Spider-Man. Cesaro followed suit and he mule kicked. He literally grabbed the roof of the pod and he mule kicked Sami Zayn off of the top wall of the chamber. Sammy could have broken his fucking ankles. Thankfully, he didn't. Cesaro then started doing fucking pull-ups in the chamber. Cesaro, you gotta fucking love Cesaro. So, Corbin tried to take advantage. Cesaro was taken out by Corbin. He took advantage of a chokeslam to Bryan. Cesaro came in with a Swiss uppercut to Corbin. Swing to Corbin, and then the sharpshooter was locked in, and Corbin taps out. Right man was eliminated first. Baron Corbin eliminated, rightfully so. Goodbye, Baron Corbin. Next man came in, it was Owens. And Zayn was trying to reason with Owens. He's like, let's work together. Let's work together. They don't want us here. They don't want me here. They don't want you here. We are not the poster boys. Let's do this together like old times. So Owens was like, fuck no. And he ragdolled Sammy into the chamber pods. Owens then started lighting up everyone. We had a super kick by Owens to Zayn. Owens with a cannonball barrage. Cannonball to Cesaro. Cannonball to Bryan. Cannonball to Zayn. Owens then got caught with a half-and-half suplex by Zayn. Zayn then got caught with a pop-up uppercut. Running knee by Bryan. And a pop-up powerbomb by Owens. All 4 men are down. All 4 men are down. Owens then got a couple of near falls. Jey Uso then entered the chamber last. Owens went right after him. Everyone was brawling on the outside of the ring. Owens with a beautiful moonsault off the pod, taking out the pile. Owens then turned into Stone Cold Kevin Owens. Started fucking stunning everyone. Stunner to Bryan, stunner to Cesaro. In the ring, Owens then with a stunner to Zayn, and Sami Zayn is gone. Now, I tweeted out that Owens eliminated Zayn, and then I tweeted out Zayn versus Owens at WrestleMania, ? Now, there's been speculation on what Kevin Owens could be doing at WrestleMania. If he's not facing Reigns, which after this chamber he is clearly not, if he's not facing Reigns, then I don't know. If they want to, they could absolutely do Sammy and Kevin Owens. I don't know. Something, though, and I don't want to speculate anything, but something in my mind tells me that Vince McMahon looks at Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn the same way he looks at Bayley and Sasha. Because realistically speaking, Bayley and Sasha, that should have been the women's title match for the last 4 WrestleManias, but they didn't do it. But Vince McMahon's like, I'll give you a match on Raw. I'll give you a match on Hell in a Cell. I'll give you a match out on SmackDown, but I'm not going to give you a match at WrestleMania. And the reason why is because if Bayley and Sasha were put in a match at WrestleMania, they would bring their A game and they would recreate the magic that they recreated at TakeOver Brooklyn 1 all the way back in 2015. They would outshine everyone, and Vince and his lackeys would be upstaged. And Triple H would look like an absolute genius for creating not only 2 of the best stars in the women's division, but 2 of the best stars in the entire company. And Vince McMahon can't have that. Vince McMahon can't be upstaged. So he's like, I'll give you the match at Hell in a Cell. I'll give you the match on SmackDown. I'm not going to give you the match at WrestleMania. Vince McMahon doesn't want to see Sasha and Bayley wrestle at WrestleMania because they would upstage everyone, and Vince McMahon can't have that. I don't know why. I'm getting the vibe that he looks at Owens and Zayn in the same fashion. I'll give you the match at Payback. I'll give you the match on SmackDown. You can have a match on Raw. You can have a match at Battleground, but you're not going to have the match at WrestleMania. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong because they could tell a good story going into WrestleMania. Zayn and Owens, one-on-one WrestleMania. They have a fight forever dynamic. Same thing with Sasha and Bayley, but I don't know. Something tells me that Vince McMahon looks at Zayn and Owens the same way he looks at Sasha and Bayley. I hope I'm wrong. So, Zayn was eliminated. Jey Uso, ingenious Jey Uso, trapped Owens' hand in the door the big door of the chamber, and he super kicked Owens a couple times. He had a big splash off the top, and Owens was eliminated. Cesaro then with an uppercut and an elbow drop, but Uso was able to kick out. Cesaro swung Uso into the chamber. Uso was taken out momentarily. Bryan and Cesaro then went at it. Bryan with a roundhouse kick to the head for a 2. Bryan then got dropped with a military press gut buster and a one-legged swing. But Uso came in with a super kick and a splash, and Cesaro was eliminated. And I actually tweeted out that I fucking hated Jey Uso. I don't really know what else I could tell you as far as this goes. WWE, again, missed a huge opportunity here. You had an opportunity to have Cesaro win the chamber, give us a fresh match with Cesaro and Roman, and instead of having the match directly after the chamber, you could have waited till later on in the night before the main event, and you could have had a competitive match. And Cesaro could have been fucked over by Rollins because Rollins clearly is feuding with Cesaro. Rollins has been going back and forth with Cesaro. Rollins attacked Cesaro a few weeks ago on SmackDown, and you're clearly building towards something there. So you could absolutely, you can do Rollins and Cesaro at Mania with Rollins costing Cesaro. The story writes itself. Cesaro's been on a tear as of lately. He's been gaining a lot of momentum as of lately. You can have Cesaro stick it to Rollins. Rollins wants to be the leader that everyone should be looking up to lead into the future, to lead everyone into success. Cesaro's been winning on his own. He stuck it to Rollins a few weeks ago. He sticks it to Rollins again. He sticks it to Rollins again by winning the chamber. He gets the match with Reigns later on in the night, and then you could have Rollins cost. You can have Rollins cost Cesaro. Ref goes down, you can pull some shenanigans, Rollins costs Cesaro, Reigns retains. That sparks up the build towards Rollins and Cesaro at WrestleMania. A huge opportunity blown to bits. So Uso went up to the top of the pod. After he hit a splash on Bryan from the top rope. Bryan kicked out, Uso went to the top of the pod. Bryan got the knees up, hit the running knee, and Daniel Bryan won the match to face Roman for the Universal title. Probably the best match of the night. A very, very good Elimination Chamber match. It really wasn't that over the top. It wasn't too crazy. It didn't really need to be too crazy. But I'm very, very happy that we got a very good match. And ultimately, I can't really complain about the wrestling, but it was absolutely the wrong fucking outcome. If you were not going to make this match a number one contenders match to see who was going to fight Roman at Mania, like you should have done, then Bryan shouldn't have won this match. It should have been Cesaro, and Cesaro should have gone on to face Reigns and then get fucked over by Rollins to spark up their feud going into WrestleMania. If Bryan was ultimately going to be the one to win this chamber, Edge should have chosen McIntyre, and then these 6 men should have fought in this chamber, and then the winner of this chamber should have gone on to fight Roman at WrestleMania. Roman should have gone on to face Shinsuke Nakamura one-on-one at the chamber because Nakamura got fucked over in the gauntlet match. He deserves a title opportunity. He's not going to win, but it would have been a great match. It would have gotten Roman on the card, and then you could have had Bryan win the Elimination Chamber, and he could have gone on to fight Roman at Mania like he should have. So Bryan wins this match. He can't get to his feet. The cage raises. Roman Reigns walks down to the ring immediately after the cage raises, looking smug as ever. And we get Roman and Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship. This went about a minute. Reigns immediately got caught in the yes lock. Immediately he got caught in the yes lock. As soon as the match began, the announcers are hyping it up. Oh my God, Bryan's going to do it. Bryan's going to do it right here. Reigns fought out of it. Reigns with a powerbomb to Bryan. Reigns then locked in the guillotine, and Daniel Bryan passed out. I understand that you're trying to make Roman look like a complete fucking dickhead. I understand you're trying to make Roman look like a heel. But why does it have to be? Why does it always have to be like this? Is the second time that you've done this. You did this back at Payback. Where you had Roman just show up out of nowhere and win the Universal title after the match between The Fiend and Braun Strowman was about 85-90% done. Why did you need to do the same thing here with Roman? Why didn't you just wait? I understand you're trying to make Roman look like a dickhead, but at the end of the day, if this was not going to result in Bryan getting another opportunity with Roman at WrestleMania, what was the fucking point of this, especially after what happened after this match? What was the fucking point of having the Universal title match directly after the Chamber just to get heat on Reigns? Reigns is already here as far as heel heat goes. Reigns is maybe the biggest heel in the entire wrestling industry right now. Over MJF, over Jericho, over Omega, over everyone. Over Sheamus, clearly. Over Lashley, over everyone. Roman is the biggest heel in the industry. You can't really do just anything in order to enhance Roman as a heel. This is why I said that Edge versus Roman is the wrong decision. Roman is not going to be enhanced as a heel just by anything. You need to do specific things with him. We've already seen this shit with Roman before, where he just shows up after his opponents have already beaten the shit out of each other. We've already seen this before. Unless this was going to result in Bryan getting another opportunity at WrestleMania, what was the fucking point of this? More likely than not, this is going to result in Bryan now getting a shot at Fastlane. Why? Why? Because Edge then came out of nowhere with a spear, points at the WrestleMania sign, the fireworks go off, and the main event of WrestleMania has been solidified. I said it once and I will say it again. Say it once and I'll say it again. Edge versus Roman is going to do nothing for either man. It is the wrong route to go. The promos may be decent, the match may be good, but at the end of the day, Edge, he shouldn't be winning a championship regardless. He's obviously going to lose. But if he's going to lose to someone who needs it. Roman doesn't need it. Roman's already here. Roman's not going to be enhanced by beating Edge. And if you think he is, you're a goddamn retard. You're an idiot. You are a complete idiot. Roman would be enhanced by beating Bryan because of the history that they have and the story that they can tell. Because like I said, Bryan again, the sole reason, not really, but yeah, the sole reason why Roman's career as a babyface failed. The crowd wanted Bryan. They didn't want Roman. You could have told the story about how Roman could come out and say, you all chose him over me. Now I got this new edge to me. I got this new attitude. I'm the tribal chief head of the table. Now you're taking a knee from me and kissing my feet. Go fuck yourself, WWE Universe. I don't fucking need you. You all need me because I'm the main event. Now, instead of him being the bigger star than me, I'm the bigger star than him. Can you imagine the promos between Roman and Bryan? Can you imagine Roman Reigns just shitting on Daniel Bryan and shitting on the people because of that? Why wouldn't you want to tell that story? Edge and Roman will do nothing. It will do nothing for Roman. It will do nothing for Edge. Meanwhile, if Edge faced McIntyre, that would have been a great match. Yes, it may not be as good as Roman, but at the end of the day, McIntyre beating Edge would enhance McIntyre because of the simple fact that McIntyre's momentum was fucked up. But instead, now you had Edge choose Roman, and now we're getting some makeshift, thrown together, on-the-fly booking for the WWE Championship going into WrestleMania. The story that you told here about how Roman being a fucking dick and Daniel Bryan fighting up from the ground, that's what Daniel Bryan's all about. You could have told an excellent story, but you elected not to. You elected not to. Edge chooses Roman Reigns for WrestleMania. Wrong decision. Whether you like it or not is fucking irrelevant. Just because you like it doesn't mean it's a good decision. It's not a good decision. Get it through your fucking head, you dumb bastards. That was that. Matt Riddle, John Morrison, Bobby Lashley, triple threat match for the United States Championship. This went about 8 minutes. 8-9 minutes. Fun little match right here. Pretty standard, but it was a fun little match. Really nothing you're going to go back and rewatch. Nothing you're going to go back and rewatch. Nothing you're going to go back and invest in. Really nothing of substance. It was fun, but at the end of the day, it was really a nothing match at the end of the day. This was merely a setup for what was to come later on in the night, and potentially throughout the rest of WrestleMania season. So Lashley was in control early. He sent Morrison into the post, and he tossed Riddle on the floor. Lashley was looking pretty fucking strong in the beginning portions of this matchup. Morrison was sent into the post, and Riddle was tossed on the floor. Riddle and Morrison then, they decided to work together. Lashley was having none of it. Lashley was throwing around both men. He had a big pop-up spinebuster to Morrison and a TKO to Mr. Riddle, the Riddler. Riddle then helped Morrison. He pulled down the ropes for Morrison. Morrison with a springboard tornillo to Lashley. And then we had Matt Riddle hitting the springboard floating bro. Lashley was down. Riddle and Morrison, they had a nice back and forth. Riddle with a PK and a Broton combo. German suplex on Morrison, but Morrison was able to kick out. Bobby Lashley caught a ripcord final flash knee. Riddle was taken out by Morrison. With a knee. Morrison hit Starship Pain on Lashley. Shitty looking Starship Pain. But Bobby Lashley kicked out. Morrison then got locked in the Hurt Lock. He got into it with MVP. So MVP's legitimately injured. He blew out his knee. So Morrison took MVP's crutch away. He was going to hit Lashley with it. Morrison was locked in the Hurt Lock, and he dropped the crutch. Riddle seen an opportunity. Riddle seen an opening. He took the crutch, hit Bobby Lashley with it a second time. Lashley fell out of the ring. This left Morrison open for Matt Riddle, and Matt Riddle hit the Bro Derek on Morrison, and Riddle pins Morrison to win the United States Championship, an outcome that no one expected, not even I expected. Riddle is the new United States Champion. Listen, am I happy for Riddle? Yeah, I am. And I want to be more happy for Riddle. I really do. I really want to be a lot more invested in Matt Riddle, and I want to be a lot more excited for the fact that Matt Riddle won the United States Championship. I really do. But at the end of the day, if we're going to be quite honest here, and I really don't want to be that guy, but I have to be, the only reason why Matt Riddle is the United States Champion right now is because of what happened with Keith Lee. Is because Vince McMahon does not see the spark in Keith Lee. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Keith Lee isn't even injured. I wouldn't even be surprised if Vince McMahon just removed Keith Lee just because he gave up on him. But Lee is out. So, more likely than not, if Lee is injured, if Lee is really injured, more likely than not, Vince was like, you know what? I don't really see anything in Keith Lee. So, you know what? Let's just give Matt Riddle the United States Championship, considering we got really no plan for the WWE Champion, Drew McIntyre, but we got a plan for Bad Bunny. But we're going to have Edge and Roman. We have a plan for Bad Bunny, but we don't have a plan for Drew McIntyre. So, you know what? We're going to give Matt Riddle the United States Championship because we don't see anything in Keith Lee. He's hurt. Lashley doesn't need to get pinned. And then Lashley and McIntyre, that's a great match for WrestleMania. Let's see the chain of events. All of this leads back to Edge as well. Because realistically speaking, Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley was going to be the match. If Keith Lee was going to be in this match, then Lashley was absolutely defeating Riddle. And Lashley was going to drop the title to Keith Lee. But Vince McMahon, seeing Keith Lee's out, Keith Lee may be injured, and Vince McMahon apparently gave up on him, so he's like, let's just give Matt Riddle the United States Championship. Matt Riddle's the United States Champion because of Keith Lee's absence. That's it. Because if they really wanted to give Matt Riddle the United States Championship, and they really wanted to invest in Matt Riddle, and they really wanted to build Matt Riddle up as a credible contender, and they really wanted to invest in Matt Riddle as the United States Champion, he would have been United States Champion well before WWE Elimination Chamber. Keith Lee's absence was Matt Riddle's ticket to the United States Championship. No one expected this. I was expecting Lashley to retain regardless of who was here, other than if Ali was in here. If Keith Lee was going to be out, Ali was still the best route to go. And I already ranted on that. Riddle is merely the United States Champion because of Keith Lee's absence. If they really wanted to invest in Matt Riddle and a U.S. title reign, then they would have booked Matt Riddle a lot more seriously, but they didn't. They fucked up the feud between Matt Riddle and Lashley. And they had an easy out here. They put a glorified enhancement talent in Keith Lee's place, so Matt Riddle could have beaten that enhancement talent, and Riddle could have won the United States Championship, which he did. So Lashley looks strong. Riddle sneaks out a win by not pinning Lashley. Lashley loses the United States title without actually losing it, so he technically still looks strong. So you were able to squeak out a win with Matt Riddle. You gave Matt Riddle the U.S. title. After Matt Riddle was decimated by Lashley for the last 2 months, and Lashley lost the U.S. title, he still remains strong, regardless. How long does this last for Matt Riddle? I'd say not long. I'd say not long. But now here's something that you got to think about. What happens with the Hurt Business? What happens with the Hurt Business? Who does the Hurt Business face at WrestleMania? Does the Hurt Business even defend the Raw Tag Team titles at WrestleMania? Because, if anything, I was in the camp of the Hardy Bros, Matt and Jeff, Riddle and Hardy, the Hardy Bros. I was in the camp that they were going to face Cedric and Shelton at WrestleMania, and they were going to be the Raw Tag Team Champions. But apparently, now they're not. I don't know who Matt Riddle's going to face at WrestleMania. And to be quite honest with you, I don't really care, because you've completely fucking buried Matt Riddle. You've completely fucking ruined Matt Riddle, so there's really no reason for me to invest in Matt Riddle unless you can give me a fucking reason to invest in him. I want to be happy for him, but he's only the United States Champion because of Keith Lee's absence. How long does it last? I'd say not long. Because if they wanted to invest in a U.S. title reign for Matt Riddle, they would have booked him a hell of a lot fucking better. That's pretty much that. Matt Riddle is the new United States Champion. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks. This is for the Women's Tag Team Championships. So we had fucking Reginald, you know, the Black James Ellsworth that can do acrobatics. Black James Ellsworth 2.0, because Leon Ruff's the first Black James Ellsworth. So Reginald was talking to Bianca and Sasha, and he said that I will be putting a bottle of the finest champagne on ice just for you. Is that how he really... that's not how he really fucking talks. What am I fucking asking? That's not how he fucking talks. So, we get the match. The match itself... I'm gonna say it again. The match itself wasn't even that bad. I mean, Bianca, Sasha, and Shayna are in the match. It's very, very hard to have a bad wrestling match when those three women are in the match. Nia Jax wasn't even that bad in this match. I'm going to be quite honest here. The match itself was not terrible. The match itself wasn't terrible. Decent tag team match, but the ending was fucking terrible. So, Shayna and Nia tried to isolate Sasha. We had a crossbody by Sasha on Baszler for a 2. We had a tag to Bianca Belair. Belair fought out of the Karafuda clutch. We had a glam slam by Bianca, tag to Miss Banks. And Miss Banks hit a frog splash to Baszler, but Baszler was able to stay alive. Bianca hit a KOD to Shayna Baszler, but Nia was able to save the match. Nia then tagged herself in, Nia with a spine buster to Bianca, but Sasha was able to save it. Sasha then took out Shayna. Sasha tagged herself in. Bianca was on the receiving end of a Samoan drop. Sasha with a meteora from the top, but Nia Jax was able to kick out. All of a sudden, Reginald came out with a champagne glass and a champagne bottle. Sasha locked in the bank statement, and Nia was able to get to the ropes. Reginald then slid a bottle into the ring, and he was telling Sasha to use it. Sasha's like, I'm not going to use it. The referee caught Sasha with the bottle, took the bottle away from Sasha, and then Nia Jax with a Samoan drop to Sasha. She pins Sasha Banks, and Nia and Shayna retain the women's tag team titles. I got a couple of questions here. I got a couple questions. Number one. Why is Reginald still hanging around Sasha Banks? Why is Reginald still hanging around Sasha Banks? The feud with Carmella ended 3 weeks ago at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Why is Reginald still floating around Sasha Banks if this feud with Carmella is over? Why is Reginald in the middle of this developing storyline with Sasha and Bianca? Are you really going to have Reginald be the spark that ignites the tension and the feud between Bianca and Sasha? Why are you recreating what you did with James Ellsworth, Jon Moxley, and AJ Styles back in 2016? 2016 SmackDown was great, but that storyline was fucking terrible. With James Ellsworth smack dab in the middle of a WWE Championship program between AJ Styles and Jon Moxley. That was fucking horrendous. Why are you using Reginald the same way that you used James Ellsworth all the way back during that 2016 feud with Moxley and Styles? Why? That's number one. Number two, this was the right outcome, but why did Sasha need to take the pin? What is it with WWE? I'm telling you right now, this fucking fetish of having champions pinned in non-title scenarios, it needs to fucking die. It needs to die a miserable death. It needs to be buried worse than Ricochet. This concept of champions losing in non-title scenarios needs to be buried. Done. Over with. It needs to be completely removed from pro wrestling mindsets and pro wrestling promotions, period. No matter what promotion you're watching, this concept needs to die. Die! And on top of that, my final question. Why wasn't Bianca pinned? Because then an opportunity presented itself. You could have had Bianca take the pin, and then Sasha could have turned heel on Bianca and actually sparked some tension and intrigue going into their match at WrestleMania, which it should be Bianca and Sasha, and that in itself would absolutely get more people invested in a match between Sasha and Bianca. Obviously, we know it's going to be a great wrestling match, but instead of them being two baby faces, you could have had Sasha turn heel, and you could have actually sparked up some interest. Oh, you say you're the EST event of WWE? Fuck no, I'm the fucking boss. I've headlined WrestleMania before in championship matches. I have been in every single women's Hell in a Cell match. I'm a Grand Slam champion. That's what you could have done, and you could have made the story much better between Bianca and Sasha, and much more people would actually be invested. And the match would have had a much better dynamic. I'm telling you right now, the pay-per-view up to this point wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible, but my fucking Lord, how many fucking missed opportunities did this company just bypass? How many fucking missed opportunities did we see? I'm telling you, if there's one thing that the Elimination Chamber is going to be remembered for, minus the fucking Miz as the WWE Champion, if there's one thing that the Elimination Chamber is going to be remembered for, it's the fact that it was a night of missed opportunities. I don't think I have ever seen a pay-per-view, not even a pay-per-view, a show in general. I don't think I've ever seen a show in general that has had so many missed opportunities. I don't think I have. It's like every single fucking match on this show had a missed opportunity. Every match. Every single match. The match itself wasn't that bad, but my fucking God. Terrible, terrible fucking ending and a complete waste of an opportunity. This match was a complete fucking waste of time if you were just going to have fucking Reginald come out, cause a distraction, Bianca and Sasha lose with Sasha taking the pin. Why is Reginald still floating around Sasha? I will ask that again. Why is he still floating around Sasha? Get him away from the woman. Get him off of television, period. Bianca should have taken the pin. Sasha should have turned heel. Would have made the dynamic between the two much better. Another missed... I think that's about 5 or 6 missed opportunities already. And then we get to the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston versus AJ Styles versus Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. That's Sheamus, for you fucking idiots. The main event of the pay-per-view for the WWE Championship, rightfully so. It's good to see the WWE Championship in the main event. Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, they started off the match. Hardy and Orton went back and forth for a little bit. We had a big splash off the middle rope to Jeff Hardy. Or not to Jeff Hardy, by Jeff Hardy to Orton. Orton was able to kick out. First pod open, and it was the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre. He lit up both Hardy and Orton. Hardy was sent face first into the pod. Orton tried to take advantage. He did so with a draping DDT. A draping DDT by Mr. Randy Orton. That got a 2 count on Drew. Next pod open, it was Kofi. Kofi and Orton, they went back and forth. Kofi got a surprise roll-up on Randy Orton, and Kofi eliminated the Viper. Kofi eliminates Randy Orton. This came as a shock to me. This actually came as a shock to everyone. I had it in my mind that we were going to have either The Fiend or we were going to have Alexa Bliss, one or the other. I didn't think The Fiend was going to return. I thought Alexa Bliss was going to intervene. Either way, we were going to have some voodoo bullshit. And either Alexa or The Fiend was going to return, and they were going to cost Orton. That didn't happen. Obviously, the feud is not over with, considering what happened this past Monday. That feud is not over with. We will get Orton and The Fiend at WrestleMania somehow, but again, another missed opportunity there. So Orton was eliminated with a roll-up by Kofi. I didn't necessarily mind it. I mean, Orton's already a made man. He'll be fine. He's Randy fucking Orton. I didn't really care. So Randy Orton got fucking pissed. He's like, fuck this, and he was hitting RKOs to everyone in sight. He hit an RKO to Hardy, then he hit an RKO to Kofi. Styles then ordered Omos to work his magic, and Omos literally ripped the plexiglass. He ripped the plexiglass off of the Elimination Chamber pod, and Styles literally got out of the chamber. Not out of the pod into the match, out of the fucking chamber. Out of the fucking chamber. Omos ripped the plexiglass off the chamber, and Styles ran around. The door was open. Orton walked by, and Styles just walked into the chamber. And Styles tried to take advantage. Adam Pearce, he was yelling at Omos, and he ejected Omos from ringside. So Omos was sent to the back. Kofi with a tornado DDT to Styles on the floor. Kofi then went after Drew McIntyre and hit an SOS for a 2. Styles then came in with a brainbuster on Kofi for a 2. Kofi then hit a monkey flip on Styles into the cage. That looked brutal. Drew McIntyre with a deadlift suplex to Kofi. Drew then suplexed Kofi into the cage. Drew then hit a massive back body drop to AJ. And then the timer went off and Sheamus entered the match. Drew was obviously waiting for him. So they traded some heavy fucking strikes. They were going at it. They traded some heavy fucking strikes. Kofi with a dive to the floor, not the floor of the chamber, that is, onto Sheamus and McIntyre. Sheamus and Kofi were brawling on the top rope. Kofi made his way onto the pod. Sheamus was then crotched on the top turnbuckle. Drew went up to the top rope with Sheamus. Hardy and AJ got involved, and we had a Tower of Doom, a big Tower of Doom superplex, a double powerbomb by Hardy and AJ, while Drew McIntyre suplexed Sheamus. All men got up to their feet, and then Kofi with a trust fall onto the pile. Kofi with a trust fall onto the pile. Kofi with a trust fall onto the pile. And then Kofi started covering a couple people, but Kofi did not eliminate anyone. Everyone kicked out. Kofi then got absolutely folded into a fucking accordion. Kofi got folded in half with the fucking bro kick. Kofi bro kicked into oblivion, folded in fucking half. He sold the shit out of this bro kick. And Sheamus eliminates Mr. Kofi Kingston, so Kofi Mania Part 2 is dead. Jeff Hardy then started hitting Twist of Fates to everyone. He hit a Twist of Fate on McIntyre, but McIntyre ended up kicking out. He then hit a Twist of Fate to Styles. He went up to the top of the pod and hit a big Whisper in the Wind off the pod onto Sheamus and McIntyre. He then went back after Styles. He hit the Swanton Bomb on Styles, but Drew McIntyre came out of nowhere and hit a Claymore to Hardy, and Drew McIntyre eliminated Jeff Hardy. We were down to Sheamus, Styles, and McIntyre. We then had Mr. Sheamus hitting a punt knee strike on Drew for a 2. There were some close near falls in this match where Drew McIntyre legitimately looked like he was going to lose. We then had a white noise by Sheamus, but he could not make the cover. So, Styles with a springboard senton bomb on McIntyre for a 2. He then hit a springboard 450 on Drew McIntyre. That also got a 2. I got to give him a little bit of credit here. Before the ending, I was really going to give him credit here. They were making McIntyre look strong. He was kicking out everything in this match. He was kicking out everything. I was actually going to come here and praise them for actually making McIntyre look strong, and then the ending happened. So we had fucking Sheamus with a diving clothesline to AJ, but he was going for the bro kick. He had a diving clothesline to AJ, going for the bro kick, but McIntyre hit a future shock DDT to Sheamus. McIntyre went for the Claymore. Sheamus hit the bro kick, but he was dazed. He couldn't make the cover. AJ came out of nowhere with a phenomenal forearm to Sheamus, and AJ eliminates Sheamus. Another missed opportunity. I thought that they were going to have Sheamus and McIntyre come down to the final 2, and we were going to have Sheamus get another WWE title match probably at Fastlane. So, AJ eliminated Sheamus with the phenomenal forearm, and then out of nowhere, AJ went for another phenomenal forearm, but Drew McIntyre, this is the first time I think I've ever seen this, a Claymore in midair as AJ went for the phenomenal forearm, and Drew McIntyre retains another very good Elimination Chamber match. All 6 men in this Chamber match and in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match worked their ass off. Now, I thought that was going to be the end of it, and if that was the end of it, I was getting ready to say, hey, pretty decent show. But then out of nowhere, the cage was raising, and out of nowhere, Bobby Lashley comes in and spears Drew McIntyre. And he starts assaulting the WWE Champion. Lashley starts assaulting Drew McIntyre. And this was a developing story throughout the night. The Miz ran into a couple people. He ran into Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny actually slapped The Miz after Miz pushed Bad Bunny. And then what we had was, we had Damian Priest getting involved, and then The Miz went away. And then we had fucking MVP after the United States title match, like right before the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE title. MVP was talking to The Miz. He was conversing with The Miz. So, obviously, we know what that was about. So, I can only imagine that MVP was trying to talk to The Miz and saying, hey, if we can get you to cash in, if I can get Bobby Lashley to attack McIntyre, then you know what? You can cash in, but Bobby Lashley gets the first shot. Now, more likely than not, it's not going to result in that. More likely than not, this is going to result in Drew McIntyre getting the WWE title back and then facing Lashley at Mania. So then afterwards, Miz's music hit. Miz ran down, cashed in, the bell rang. Drew got to his feet. Miz hit a DDT for a 2. Then he hit the skull-crushing finale, and The Miz wins. The Miz is the WWE Champion, and there's some people that are legitimately happy about this. And if you are happy about this, my fucking God, you are not for the betterment of the WWE. And if you really are happy about this, you must have the lowest fucking standards out of anyone in this fucking community. The Miz. The same guy that was mimicking a hair puppet, a fake hair puppet of Mandy Rose. Same guy that was losing to Otis in a tag team match. Same guy who got squashed by Braun Strowman in a handicap match alongside John Morrison not even a year ago. Same guy who's been losing and losing and losing and losing. Same guy that lost to Shane McMahon. Same guy that lost to Shane McMahon 3 fucking times, not even 2 years ago. Same guy. Same guy. This is the guy that you want as the WWE Champion. This is the guy that you are content with as the WWE Champion, even if he just holds it for 3 weeks. Why? Just to get Drew McIntyre a 3rd WWE Championship reign, make him a 3-time WWE Champion? What is the fucking point of it? What is the fucking point of it? This is the 2nd time now you fucked up Drew McIntyre, and you pretty much had no choice. Why couldn't you have just had Drew McIntyre? You know what? Here's something. If your endgame was ultimately going to be Drew and Lashley at WrestleMania, why didn't you just have Drew retain against The Miz, and The Miz doesn't win the WWE title? Then you could have just built towards Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre that way, and Drew McIntyre would still have the WWE Championship, and he would still be looking strong. Now that Miz has won the WWE Championship, he's cashed in Money in the Bank successfully. Now you're gonna have Drew win the title back, which obviously he's going to. Drew's gonna win the title back at Fastlane, face Lashley at Mania. Now you need to rebuild that credibility all over again. Now you need to start from scratch for a 3rd time with Drew McIntyre. Now you need to start from scratch for a 3rd fucking time with Drew McIntyre. And you have to rebuild his credibility going into SummerSlam, which more likely than not he'll lose the title at SummerSlam to someone like a Karrion Kross. Because, let's be honest here, Drew's going to win the title back. There ain't no fucking way. No fucking way Drew McIntyre is losing the title to Lashley. Nor should he lose the title to Lashley. Like I said, that ship has sailed. The ship has sailed. Lashley, he ain't a main eventer. Lashley, he ain't a guy that the majority of the community are going to take seriously. Plus, he's up there in age. I realize that age really is just a number. Yes, he's in great shape, but Lashley, realistically, he's already a made man. He's already a made man. The only thing that Bobby Lashley can do, in which the majority of the people will be interested in, is, like I stated at the beginning of this video, a match with Brock Lesnar. That's it. That's it. Instead of having Drew retain, and Miz unsuccessfully cashes in, now you're going to have Drew win the title back, which more likely than not he will, and you have to rebuild his credibility for a 3rd time. You have to rebuild the legitimacy, you need to rebuild the credibility, and even if you do rebuild the legitimacy and credibility for a 3rd time, at the end of the day, how many more fucking chances can you get with Drew McIntyre? How many more fucking chances can you get with Drew McIntyre to do him right and transfer that legitimacy and credibility to a new star? This is the 2nd time that you've done this. 2nd time. 2nd time that you've wasted Drew McIntyre's credibility and legitimacy on someone who was A, already made, And B, not only was The Miz already made, but he's been a fucking joke. He's been an absolute fucking joke. He's been nothing but a bad comedy act. The Miz is a dead character. I don't give a shit whether you love The Miz, whether you hate The Miz, whether you think this is a good creative decision. It's not. This is merely the product of WWE not knowing what the fuck they want to do and killing everyone else around them because you elected to go with fucking Roman and Edge and you killed everyone else on Monday Night Raw. Meanwhile, if you would have gone with McIntyre and Edge, shit would have worked out a hell of a lot better because you actually got a fucking mid-card and main event scene on SmackDown. You got Cesaro, you got Nakamura, you got Bryan, you got Owens, you got Reigns. You don't have that on Raw because you fucking killed everyone on Raw. And on top of that, the people that you have built up are not going to be taken seriously in that role because that ship has sailed, i.e. Bobby Lashley. Again, outside of a match with Lesnar, no one's going to give a shit about Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. We've already seen that shit. Drew McIntyre shouldn't be losing the WWE title, obviously, but you want to go forth with the best possible fucking match at WrestleMania. A complete waste of time. A fucking horrendous ending. I was getting ready to come on here and saying, hey, you know what? We had some shitty booking decisions, but overall the Elimination Chamber was a decent wrestling show. WWE has made the Elimination Chamber show as a whole, and WrestleMania season as a whole, that much worse. Absolutely fucking terrible. A waste of fucking time. Miz, hey ho ho, correct, is the WWE champ. That guy. The guy that's screaming correct into the microphone like a hyperactive fucking third grader. The guy that fucking acts like a third grader is the WWE champion. That's who you want as the WWE champion? All because you wanted Edge and Roman at Mania. All because all you fucking losers wanted Edge and Roman. And all because, oh my god, it's going to be a great story. And oh my god, Edge is really going to enhance Roman's heel run. No, he fucking won't. Not only will he not, but now the world title picture on Monday Night Raw is that much worse. I don't think you understand how one move, one wrong move can set off a chain of events. One wrong move could set off a chain of events that completely fucks everything up. The Miz is the WWE champion. Miz is the WWE champion. A fucking horrendous ending to a pay-per-view that wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even that bad, this pay-per-view. But that ending is going to be the one thing that everyone is going to be talking about. And that ending left such a sour fucking taste, not only in my mouth, but everyone else's mouth as well. That's your rewind. That's your rewind. I'm going to get the fuck to work. You know, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to work. And you know what? I'm actually working from 3 to 8 today, so I'm actually going to miss a little bit of Monday Night Raw. And you know what? I ain't fucking complaining. I ain't fucking complaining whatsoever. I am not complaining whatsoever because I cannot fucking stand Monday Night Raw. I may not even do a Lightning Flash update. Maybe I'll catch up on Monday Night Raw on Tuesday, but I may not even do a Lightning Flash update. Why? This show fucking sucks. This show sucks. This company sucks. Fuck The Miz. Fuck The Miz, and fuck anyone who supports The Miz. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Hopefully I'll be more energetic and more happy as the week goes on. And maybe I'll keep you guys updated on whether or not I do a Lightning Flash update. But thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for joining the chat. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. I'm DJ Storms. I am DJ Storms, the greatest of all time. Greatest fucking YouTuber on this planet. This has been the Rewind for Elimination Chamber. I'll catch you later. Keep it real. Stay safe as always.